Welcome to This Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we're going to explore something that's honestly going to change the way you interact with the world around you every single day. We're diving into a 2,000-year-old science of listening. But hey, before we get into the heavy lifting, let's jump right in with a little experiment. Don't worry, it's totally painless. You ready?
How long has it been since you really listened? Seriously, I'm breaking the fourth wall here because I want you to actually do this with me. Right now, wherever you are, just close your eyes and pause with me for exactly 3 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. What did you notice in that brief little window of silence? I guarantee you there were sounds happening that you were completely 100% tuning out. You know, maybe the low hum of an air conditioner, some traffic way off in the distance, maybe a keyboard clicking, or even just the rhythm of your own breathing. The crazy thing is, it was all there the whole time. You just weren't actually listening to it. And that brings us to this really fascinating modern paradox. We live in an age where we are literally drowning in sound, right? But we're almost never truly listening. Just think about it. We've got earbuds in 24/7. The absolute second a moment of quiet hits, it feels kind of empty. So what do? We hurry up, swipe open an app, or put on a playlist just to fill that void. We use sound to escape, but we rarely use sound to come home to ourselves. And setting up this exact problem is super crucial, because this explainer is going to give you an ancient, practically foolproof solution to it.
Section 1. The Ear Faculty Chapter from the Śūraṅgama Sutra. Returning to the Original Mind. So in this ancient text, the Buddha gathered up a group of highly accomplished practitioners and posed a pretty massive question. He asked, by what means did you return to your original mind? And the text tells us that exactly 25 practitioners stepped up, reporting 25 completely different doorways to awakening. You had some coming through seeing, some through the breath, others through, analyzing their own thoughts. But today, we're focusing entirely on the one single method that was singled out as the absolute best for our specific world. Right after everyone gave their reports, the Buddha asked a figure named Manjusri to evaluate all these different methods and basically figure out which one was the absolute easiest for the beings of this world to actually take up. Manjusri chose Avalokiteśvara's method. And what was that method? Listening. This became known as the ear faculty method. And look, it wasn't chosen because it was magically superior in some mystical way. It was chosen because it is the most practical, accessible tool for everyday people like us.
But why the ear, right? Well, just think about our biology for a second. In our world, the ear is unusually open. If you close your eyes, boom, you instantly can't see. But try covering your ears. Sound still gets through. Unlike our eyes, which only face one direction, our ears catch sound from absolutely every side. They work perfectly in the pitch dark, and they can literally hear around corners. Because of that, listening is the most ready-to-hand, lowest-effort door we have. It seriously offers the lowest threshold for humanity to drop into a state of absolute presence.
Section 2. Turning the Hearing Inward. A Paradigm Shift.
Okay, so this right here is the massive paradigm shift at the very heart of this 2,000-year-old practice. It is all about completely rewiring how we relate to the noises around us. Normally, our listening points strictly outward, right? A sound happens, and our knee-jerk habit is to immediately chase it. We think, oh, who's talking? Are they talking about me? Wait, what was that giant crash? Our minds literally run off chasing the sound. Turning the hearing inward totally reverses that direction. Instead of running after what you just heard, you turn your attention back and you simply notice the peaceful act of being the listener. You're basically asking yourself, what is it that is actually doing the hearing right now?
Think about it like being in a movie theater. When you're absorbed in the film, you're completely swept away by the plot, totally forgetting you're even sitting in a chair in a dark room. That's chasing the sound. On the flip side, turning the hearing inward is like that sudden, mind-blowing moment you realize, hey, wait, I'm the one sitting in the theater watching this. The movie keeps going, the sounds still happen, but you aren't swallowed whole by the plot anymore. You're just aware.
Let's take this just a step further, because this is where it gets really cool. Sounds arise and cease, right? One comes, one goes. But the one that can hear, that awareness, doesn't arise and cease with them. Just think about it. When a loud sound ends and the room goes totally pin-drop quiet, you don't suddenly go deaf. You hear the silence. And that proves that the awareness was there the entire time. The hearing wasn't coming from the sound was only ever passing through your hearing.
Section 3. Why Sound Works Best. The Supreme Tool.
So, why does sound beat out visual or physical methods for staying present? Well, first off, it's always ready anywhere you go.
You don't need to arrange some perfect aesthetic scene, you don't need to light a fancy candle or find a perfectly quiet meditation room. Whether you are packed on a busy subway or just hanging out in your kitchen, the door of sound is wide open. Second, it cuts right through your habit of escaping. You can close your eyes to dodge a bad sight, but sound forces you to face the moment. And third, it naturally teaches impermanence. Every single sound arises, lingers for a split second, and then vanishes. You don't need a philosophical lecture on how things come and go in life. Your ears are literally demonstrating it to you every second of your existence.
The crucial point here is summed up so beautifully in this quote from our source material. Let every sound come in, without picking, without blocking, without judging, as if you were letting them pass right through you. And I really want to reassure you right now, doing this practice means you definitely do not need to go out and drop hundreds of dollars on noise-canceling headphones to find some peace. Actually, it's the exact opposite. The absolute noisiest, most chaotic cafe or crowded office space becomes your perfect place of practice.
Section 4. 3 everyday listening practices. Listening in real life.
All right, let's transition to some highly actionable takeaways you can start using the absolute second this explainer ends. Here are 3 zero-cost steps to break out of that noisy modern routine today. Step 1 is what we call the 3 rings of a bell. Just pick a daily sound, maybe your phone dinging or the kettle boiling. When you hear it, pause for just 1 single second and listen to it from the very moment it begins until it completely fades away. It pulls you right back into the present. Step 2 is open listening. On your commute, give yourself just 2 minutes, just 2, where you don't put your earbuds in. Just let every sound in freely without chasing any of them. Open your hands, so to speak, to the whole soundscape. And step 3 is listen to the quiet. Right before you go to sleep, try to listen for the absolute quietest underlayer of your room. Maybe it's the hum of the AC, maybe it's just a faint ringing. Notice that even the quiet is being heard by you. Just a quick aside from the text here, this is an awareness practice, so if you happen to have medical sleep difficulties, definitely stick to professional help for that. But for just settling a busy mind, it is incredibly effective.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with the absolute core takeaway of this ancient wisdom. The text says, "What you hear isn't sound, it's the you that hears the sound." Think about that. The incredible, non-stop noise of the modern world, literally the exact thing we are all constantly complaining about and drowning in, is actually the very door to finding ourselves. You don't need to flee to some remote mountain ashram. The noise itself is the path.
So the next time the world starts getting overwhelmingly loud, don't rush to cover your ears. Don't instinctively rush to stuff in your earbuds. Instead, try turning your attention around and looking back. I really want you to ask yourself this one lingering question. The one who is listening to all of this, who is that? Keep that question with you today and just see what you discover about your own awareness. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.